All right, we're here with Coach Manning.
We'll go ahead and start with you with questions.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Doing great. Doing great. Just a general question about week one. Obviously, Hunter threw the ball well. I think targeted 10 guys. They all got a catch. How do you assess your passing game performance in the season opener?
Yeah, I thought, overall, I thought Hunter made some really good decisions and got the ball out of his hands quickly. And, I think in the first week, there's just making the right reads is always a tough thing, when, that first game of the year where there could be a change in coverage and, just a lot of stuff going on. I thought he did a really good job handling that. And I thought the receivers and tight ends and really the running backs, did a really good job catching the football. Certainly, I don't think we ended up with what we felt like it was a drop. So certainly pretty good.
All right, next question, Randy Peterson.
Tom, how do you move the ball against a defense like Iowa's? I'm going to say it's probably going to be the best defense you'll face all year.
Yeah, that's what we spent our time trying to figure out. I mean, they're as well coached of a football team that you play, and they're very disciplined. They're talented. They're strong and physical, and it's really hard to find examples of them not being in the right place. So I think we know that we have our hands full, and you try to do the best you can and staying in situations where you have an opportunity and you don't let all the multiple things show up. But they do a great job across the board. Good players, good coaches. They do a great job.
Rob, next question.
To piggyback off that, you moved the ball somewhat well against them last year, but scoring was tough to do. What do they do so well? Is it just their ability to be in the right place at the right time, or what makes it hard for them, even when you are able to have a little bit of success, to be able to seal the deal and really kind of build off of it?
Yeah, they're very sound. I think the style of the defense, there's they have the ability when you get down there tight to kind of suffocate you in a lot of ways. And I think over the years, their red zone success is very, very high. And I think that's a little bit of the style of defense. I think they do a great job in making timely calls and timely decisions by the players as well. And you have to be disciplined, and you can't turn the football over. And last year we turned it over a ton. So I think we know all those things. We know the challenges that we face, and you have to play really good against a really good defense.
Back to Randy.
Just what are your thoughts on the way Iowa State's offensive line played Saturday?
Yeah, I think pretty good overall. I think they pass protected well. It took us a second or two to get running the football, and I think there was a couple changes. I thought from a defensive standpoint that we kind of had to change maybe our thought process in the running game a little bit, and I thought our players did a really good job of changing up really what we maybe expected. There's some different fronts and a couple different things that maybe we didn't see on videotape before that they kind of got going. So I was happy with overall performance. We got out of there. I think quarterback got hit it once or twice. So I think overall pretty good. And certainly we know that that's an area that you have to continue to improve in every week, regardless of how good you're playing, because it's a challenging position.
Back to Rob.
Tom, Hunter said after the season opener that he expected to feel some sense of nerves going in, and he said it wasn't there. Obviously, first road start can be a little bit different, but what about him has he demonstrated to you that means, is it his preparation or whatever, that nerves don't seem to be an issue for him, so far at least?
Yeah, I think, the comment he made was, probably because I think, he relied on a tremendous process, and he had great preparation, and The more you prepare, the more earned confidence and belief that you have. And I think that he's really taken that to heart and has always prepared very hard. But I think certainly the first time as a starter, I think, he did a great job handling that week. And, he's done a great job handling this week. And I'm certain for him, there is a difference between playing on the road and playing at home. And certainly he's worked really hard to prepare the best that he possibly can. And, we got to go out and play.
Next question for Andrew Harrington.
Which position group do you think is going to have the biggest impact on this game?
Man, I don't know. I wish I did know. But I think certainly when you play a really good defense, you're really relying on everybody to pull their own weight. And, you hope that you can make some plays and move the football consistently. I know from our end, we're going to need everybody to play well to have a chance. And I think that's, I hope they all play really well. And, we'll kind of go in the game and see where it's at.
Back to Randy.
Tom, what is it about Toledo? You guys are all Toledo guys, obviously. Phil Parker is a Toledo guy, if I'm not mistaken. What is it about Toledo?
Oh, I don't know. Certainly I know when Coach Parker was at Toledo, they were playing really good football and really good defense. And I don't know Coach Parker real well, just in passing, and I got a ton of respect for him. And even back at Toledo, the people all there have a ton of respect for him. And, I don't know if there's about Toledo or if it's coincidence or what, but, certainly there's been a lot of good coaches that have come from there, that conference in general, but also, at that particular place, especially when Coach Parker was there. I think there's a million guys that have went on and continue to do great things throughout their careers.
Last question to Nick.
Hey, Tom, thank you for the time. Obviously, it's often kind of stated or looked at that a potent running game can kind of help open up the pass as well. How is that schematically a little bit extra imperative against a strong defense like Randy mentioned in the Hawkeyes? And how does it almost, potentially work to your advantage when you've got multiple backs on the team that provide a couple different attributes in that group?
Well, I think you have to have the ability in football in general, whatever level it is, to be able to not be, lopsided in terms of what you're doing in your approach to playing against the defense. And, certainly if you can get the running game going, I think the cliche is that, you don't want to be one dimensional. And I think there's certainly truth to that we'll take yards, I think, any way that we can get yards and try to get first downs. But, in general, any way that you can move the football consistently is a good thing, and we understand that some weeks you have to, or you're able to do one thing, maybe more against somebody. But again, it's against a good football team, and a really good defense. I think you have to, you got to try to get yards, and being able to run the football is obviously important, and being able to throw the football is important. And you just have to stay positive and try to keep moving it, inch by inch.
Thanks for coming on, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom.
We'll have Coach Heacock come on next.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. No problem.
And just a reminder to use the hand raise function for Coach Heacock. Welcome, Coach.
Man, am I on?
Yep, you're good to go. We'll start open questions with Rob.
Hello, John. Just really quick, seeing Iowa's week 1 offense, what, if anything, can you take away from that, what you saw in their season opener?
I don't know. I've done this a long time. I don't think I like two things. One, I think it's everybody's first game. So the team that you see on film, or even the team that you see at different times, is not the same team you're going to play in a rivalry game. Like once you play in a rivalry game, all the film study last year, last week, none of that stuff matters. So we're not going to see any version of the team that we saw on video play. So I try to watch the X's and the O's and try to marry them to, you know, personnel things they've done in the last 4 or 5 years against us. And that's really what we try to do. But, you know, when you play in a rivalry game, Rob, the film you're watching is not, you know, the team that you're playing. So I think my years being a coach, I've kind of learned that through the process.
For sure. Thanks.
Next question to Randy.
John, what did Southeast Missouri do well against Will McDonald, and what are you expecting to see from Will McDonald this Saturday?
Well, I think they did a great job of getting rid of the ball. The ball was out.
Okay.
I think we'll see that moving forward. I don't know that. You know, I think their plan was to get rid of the ball before anybody could even think about rushing. You know, most of the protections were turned to him. We're going to continue to see that. Still feel like he's got the ability to win those matches. And, you know, I think, I think those two things, you know, together, I think everybody knows who Will is, obviously. So you're going to get some protection things, and then, you know, they're not going to hold the football. And that's really what we saw the other night.
Next question to Rob.
John, what did you like from your guys? And obviously you were able to play a lot of guys in the season opener. What did you like that they can build off of, and what must they improve from week 1 to week 2?
Well, first, I think starting last week, I really liked the preparation. I liked the amount of effort that was being put in off the field. I think there was a large number of guys that made a lot of commitment to try to, you know, continually improve. We have a young team. We're very young on defense. Not a lot of veterans in there. And so the constant growth is going to be, you know, from here on out, and challenge our guys this week to do it better. You know, they all put in a lot of time last week. I would ask that they, you know, try to do what they did better, you know, learn from what really helped them, from studying film to how they ate, to how they slept, to, you know, mental preparation for the game. And I think that's a growth process with our defense, as young as it is. And, you know, I think the other thing is that you expect them to improve fundamentally. You know, I think we left some tackles out there. We left some alignments out there. We left some fundamentals out there. And, you know, but I was really, you know, I was pleased with the way our guys played. We played extremely hard from beginning to end. We were able to play a lot of guys, which means a lot of guys were mentally ready to play. And that's a huge step for, you know, the youth that we have on our side of the ball.
Thanks.
Andrew Harrington.
You talked last week about how you like your defense to play with emotion. What are the emotions going to be like in an atmosphere like this?
Well, a lot of these guys don't even know, you know, the atmosphere. So we've tried to create a little bit of that, but until you get in it, you don't know. Like I said, a lot of these guys, we haven't played over there for, I guess, a few years. So a lot of these guys have never been even to the stadium. So that will be a new thing for them. You know, rivalry games are always emotional. Anyone I've ever coached in has been emotional. You expect it to be, but I have to ask our guys to do the same thing. You know, a lot of them was the first time they played in Jack Trice, and it was emotional, and you have to ask them to do their jobs. And, you know, through all of the interference and all the things, you know, most importantly, we have to do what we're assigned to do. Our job's to play defense, and, you know, we have to do our job on Saturday.
Next up, Randy Peterson.
John, I know this isn't your realm necessarily, but what role can a punter play in helping decide the outcome of a game? Very similar to what Iowa has in Torrey Taylor.
Well, Randy, the punting is in my realm. I used to be a punter. You probably didn't know that.
I did not. Oh my
Quick
gosh.
fact, actually did a thesis on punting at one point in time.
Jeez.
I think, again, I grew up in an era where everybody said the punt was the most important play in football. I don't know that gets said very much anymore, but I think when you have a great punter, you have the ability to change the field, with a possession. It's the best. Coach Trussell used to say it's the most consistent offensive play that you have. Every time you went out, you could punt the ball 40 yards and you could gain 40 yards on offense, it was a good day. So I think it's very important, obviously has a factor in the game, and, both sides, the punt team and the punt return team will have a big factor in this game.
I want to hear about this thesis.
No, you don't.
I don't? Okay.
No, it wasn't that good, but I did do a study on it. But anyways.
Who's the best punter you've seen? And if it's Troy Taylor, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know, Randy. I go back a long time, guys like Ray Guy and some.
Okay, good Lord. Yeah.
But the guy that we're playing is very talented. So he's very good.
Wow. That's awesome. We'll have to sit down and talk about that sometime, you and me.
All righty.
Up at
All
the
right,
lake.
anything else for Coach Heacock? All right, thanks, Coach.
Great. Appreciate you.
Thanks, John.